Good morning, traders. It is Friday, April 26th. Looking at the charts, start off with our position here. TSG yesterday, another down day in the market. If we look at the recent price action, 2 days ago we saw it dip down to this moving average, bounce back up. Yesterday, moved back down, testing that key support zone, which is not only the moving average, but it's a previous consolidation through this whole area here, more or less a previous high on the chart. But again, still overall good price action, and we're just looking for price to start to kind of pick up and start to move. We've got an upside target around this up in this 20, 25, 21 area, which is this previous kind of big bar range over here, where if we get this bull flag to pick up some speed, we should start to see it take off and go higher. Now looking at CPRX, had a really nice pop yesterday, up over 11% close. If we throw a Fibonacci extension on here to get a target of where it could potentially go, this is a very strong pattern, and we drag it forward. We look at the Fibonacci extension and look at the price action. We've got potential for it to go all the way up to the 647 area, all the way up to the 747 area. This is a 100% measured move. The orange line, which again, if I just draw on the chart, you can see where we go. We go from the low with the high momentum pullback, and then of course we've got this target and then this target. Typically how it works is if you hit the 618 and you see some type of pause or pullback, usually you're going to hit that 100%. It means that the numbers are working out in terms of momentum and where the fractals are pointing to. Let's take a look at XLU. XLU, nice strong run. It's been consolidating. Showing some signs of life here where it's starting to have some money move into it as a flow to safe haven. I think we could continue to see this move up. We're not really looking for huge gains here. It is a really big pattern. We are looking for it to get back up to around this 59 area and potentially go a little bit higher. But overall, we're anticipating this to kind of work its way up as equities market, people start to fear about the new highs getting hit and if big selling is going to step into the market. Last but not least, AMRN we got into yesterday. It's got a few patterns here. Big picture pattern, very large bull flag. It's got a series of bull flags here as well. If we were to throw a couple Fibonacci extensions, you can see where we're at. You go from the low to the high down to this low. You can see we had this first move in the market where it rallied up, consolidated. We got the second 100% measured move. And if we were to look at this pattern in a bigger way where this full run up into this previous high is the run, and then we got this pullback, we can get another extension target where we go up to this high, go down to this low, and carry it forward. We can squish it down to see where the next run is. We could potentially see this run down to here and then up. We could start to see it get into these levels up here going forward. Overall, it's had a nice run. It's consolidating. It's more or less in a bull flag and fading down into this kind of support zone down here. And we had some pretty good money moving into the market the last two sessions for this. Some incredible amounts of call options being bought. There's been a lot. There's been rumors of a buyout. It's a drug that is working really well. If we go to the weekly chart, you can kind of see the bigger picture here. More or less, we've got this run to the upside. It's been consolidating down, and we're looking for it to pop and break. If it breaks this pattern, there's potential for it to obviously look at the upside target 27. It could even go much further. These type of companies can really take off. But overall, we're looking for it to pop back up, get near these recent highs, and then potentially take off, breakout, and we can ride it for larger gains. Now let's take a look over at the SP 500. Equities market's relatively flat. NASDAQ bucked the trend yesterday. It traded up pretty strong yesterday. It's up again 0.4% today, while the Dow and small caps traded lower. Overall, SP 500 here is stair-stepping its way up, and we're just kind of poking here at another bull flag and riding this 5-day moving average. Looks like it could continue to grind its way higher. The trend does continue to be up. We're really bucking the trend. Overall, we have cycle lows coming into play, and we could see a blow off top in price where we see this pop and really take off maybe up to the 3,000 mark in price. Let's take a look over at Bitcoin's having a move down today in pre-market this morning. If you look, it's kind of hard to see it here, but if if you look at this was last night. Last night we saw some type of news or something hit Bitcoin, a huge drop in Bitcoin. It went from 5,500 all the way down to 4,900. So it dropped about $600 a coin. It's kind of rebound a bit. Overall, some pretty heavy volume in Bitcoin today. Obviously, there's some type of news in effect there. Taking a look over at precious metals, gold and silver up slightly this morning. Again, they're stair-stepping their way lower, but overall they've had a move down and they're kind of bouncing up here. We'll see what kind of traction they get going forward. But overall, if we take a look over at the miners, again, we had a big pop 2 days ago. Yesterday morning, it continued to run up, but then reversed back down, looking like it could continue to move lower. And of course, our short-term bias is for more or less gold to chop around and be pretty volatile over the next week or so. This is kind of a window, a turning window where we could see it flush down and reverse. This could just be a really big volatile week overall for the mining stocks. Looking over at energies, natural gas up a little bit this morning. It's underneath this key green moving support resistance trend line now. We'll see if it carves out a bottom. Overall, it broke down below it, and we end up exiting our long position in natural gas. It clearly broke this level. The question is it going to fade up, find resistance, and then potentially roll back over and go down, or are we going to get a reversal and some type of bullish formation there? Looking at crude oil, down 2% this morning. We've been talking about how 66 to 67.50 is going to be a really key long-term resistance area on the weekly chart going back a year or two. More or less, it's pulling back this morning. It's coming down to tag this key moving average. You can see it's tagged it before over here. It's tagged it over here. Traded through it a little bit over here and recovered. But overall, it is falling down to support. It's a moving average. It's through this consolidation zone. We'll see if it can get some support. But again, we talked about this a while ago that, let me just zoom back in time here. We are looking for, let me throw in the horizontal resistance line. We are looking for this area here up to about here to be pretty key resistance for crude. And we're talking about over the next month or a couple of weeks, we could see how increased volatility, meaning it's going to chop around, big runs, big sell-offs, form a little topping formation where eventually if it breaks that level, we could see it quickly break down and unwind down to this 57 area very quickly. Last but not least, taking a look at the VIX, we're down to a pretty significant support level in VIX where it gets down to this area and we see it kind of bounce bottom for a while. Usually when the VIX gets down to these really low levels is when we start to see utilities actually perk up, which is why we are long utilities, and we should start to potentially see safe haven money move into the utilities, and the VIX could potentially start to move up along with utilities. So we'll see if this starts to kick in, if fear starts to move up into the market and moves money more into the safe haven plays like utilities, bonds, potentially the precious metals as well. Anyways, that's it for this morning. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye.